All right, I want to emphasize something. Before I tell that little story, I want to emphasize something today. I've said this before, but if you're ever absent, not just if you ever have to go away, if you're ever absent, check. You don't have to check. Okay, so we're going to start some questions today. If you're absent tomorrow, what do you need to do? Or look on the YouTube deal, and you'll have whatever we did today. If you just miss a day and you come back, get what you missed. Okay, don't wait till we do the quiz. You know what I mean? That's not taking care of business, right, Keller? Doesn't that just shake just not taking care of business? Does that make sense? And if you have a question, ask me, and I'll do whatever I can. But let's say, okay, I was a little kid. I'm sitting there in the car, about 6, 7 years old, looking outside. Why do we have to pay for gas? And why do we have to pay for groceries? Why do we have to pay for anything? Let the gas station guy give you gas you need. Go in the grocery store. Let them give you the food you need. That would work great. How come that would never work?
They wouldn't be getting money back.
Well, we wouldn't need it. Everybody gets what they need. Everybody gives you what you need. What's the problem with that? What wouldn't work? We would not take what we need. We'd go to Walmart and go, just. And then the next day, what new shipments would come in? None. Because no one would show up. None of the truck drivers would show up. None of the people that make stuff would show up. Because human beings can't handle free stuff. That would work perfect if human beings weren't involved, but because human beings are involved, we can't handle. Does that make sense? We have to have a reason to get up and move. But that would be perfect. Everybody just give what people need, take what you need. The problem is we wouldn't take what we need, we just take. So that's why communism doesn't work. All right, let me give you this. We're going to try to get down number 7 today. If we do that, we're going to stop. If we don't, we're okay. We're looking at Texas. We're going to look at Texas government today. Texas government is very, very similar to the U.S. government, but there are a few changes. And for the most part, Texas gets it right. And in most states, I'm not an expert in other state governments, but a lot of states are similar to Texas in the things that are good. So I need you to get your phone out and look up how much Texas legislators get. Number 1, what's a Texas legislator? Somebody in Congress in Texas, which we have a House and we have a Senate. How much do they get for pay?
$600 per month or $7,200 per year, plus a per diem of $221 for every day the legislator is in session.
Okay, let's look at that. When you saw that, did your face wrinkle up? You go, they make $7,000 a year. What was it? $7,200?
I make more than that.
How much?
200.
$7,200. What does that tell you about the Texas legislature?
They're not career lawmen.
That's not their job. That's not their career. This is a part-time gig. So they have other jobs. This is part-time. We have a House and we have a Senate. That's their yearly pay. Joe said something else about per diem. What, 200? $221 a day.
Per session.
Yes. If anybody ever goes, like when I was a track coach, we'd go to regionals. We got a per diem. The kids got a per diem. Where have you heard the word diem before? Carpe diem, which means seize the day.
Yeah.
So this means per day. So legislature meets where? Austin. If you represent Amarillo, my best good friend of mine, Coach Felderhoff. Do you remember Felderhoff? You remember seeing him at all? He coached at Groover. Groover. Right here. That's Groover. They made it to the state basketball tournament his first year there, and it took them, they stopped in Paradise to practice. Because on the way to Austin, that didn't work. We tried something, and it didn't work. It took them about 12, 13 hours to get to Austin. So, if you're a representative and you live in Groover, when Congress is in session, what do you need? They gotta get there, then what? You need a place to stay. You need food to eat. So that $221 a day is designed to help you survive in Austin. Find lodging, find food. And you're there, they meet for like 3 months, 3 to 4 months every 2 years. So you gotta find a place to live. You think finding a place to live in Austin is good, easy, and cheap? No, it's not. Very expensive. See, they took this out of the box thing because he thought maybe it was getting hot. That's why I kept quitting. So, what do you know about Texas legislators?
It's really like a volunteer.
It's a part-time gig. So they have to have other jobs to support themselves. Does that limit who could be a Texas state legislator? Yeah. Could I do it?
No.
No. For some reason, the school wouldn't like me leaving 4 months every other spring. You know? So you'd have to have a job where you could leave. And what kind of person could be a legislator?
Firefighter.
I don't know about firefighter. They probably would let you go.
48 on 4.
Right, but they'd be gone for 4 months at a time.
Oh, they're leaving for like 4 months.
They're meeting for like 4 months like this year, they're meeting from January to April or May.
They could be a lawyer because you could have your own office.
A lot of them are lawyers and you might have other people you might be a rancher or a farmer who could leave some of your stuff with somebody else and say, if you're a business owner, possibly, retired person, but it is limited who can be a representative. Not so much. I never. All right, what else?
So they meet like in the spring.
They meet, they're elected. I know the House representatives have 2-year terms. Senators, I'm not quite sure. But they meet every odd numbered year from January to about mid-May. About 120 days. From January to mid-May, every odd numbered year, because every even numbered year is an election. This is fun, getting to work with computers while I'm trying to. Okay. How's that? Oh, that's why. Give me a break. Incorrect. How's that? Okay. What's next?
What compensation does the governor get? Where does he or she live?
Look up on your phone how much the governor gets. Texas governor.
Oh, Gregory Abbott.
That's great. I have a funny governor story too. I met the governor again. At the Capitol again. I've met the governor twice. You met the governor. I've met the governor twice. Okay, $150,000, $100,000+ a year. What does that tell you about them? That is their full-time job. If you're elected governor, that's your gig.
A 4-year election?
What's that?
How many, when does, how about election work?
I think governor is a 4-year term.
That's like Greg Adams been there for forever.
He's won a couple terms.
Oh, so we don't have like a top out.
No, because I know, Perry, was it Perry? Perry was there, Rick Perry was there for like 4 terms or 3 terms. Yeah, we don't, not that I know of.
You like Greg Adams?
I don't have any problem with it. The thing about the governor of Texas, and you'll see this in a second, the governor of Texas really doesn't have a lot of power. Way less power. I mean, it's similar to the president, but the power side, they can't get as much done as the president can. And I told you the presidents can't do nothing, which I kind of lied. Where's the thing? They get $150,000 a year. They live in the governor's mansion. Anybody been to Austin and been in the Capitol? You need to go sometime. Yeah, you need every Texan ought to go there. It really is cool looking. It really is pretty.
I had a buddy who had those spark bombs in
Yeah.
his pocket, and he leaned up against the railing and popped them off in the middle of the Capitol. Had to run into the bathroom. Kind of funny.
The governor's mansion is southwest of the Capitol. It was built in the 1800s. Sam Houston actually lived there. So it's pretty historical. It burnt about 20 years ago. They were rebuilding it, and somebody threw a Molotov cocktail, a gas bottle with cloth, and they should have been. I don't know if they ever caught that person. And we spent a lot of money to restore it because it is a historical building. It's not Secret Service protection, but they get state trooper protection. State troopers are the Secret Service for the governor.
I think I'd rather have the state troopers than the Secret Service.
I think so. Well, I don't know. Secret Service is pretty good at what they do. Yeah.
State trooper on the road. Walk around in a cowboy hat. Stop shotgun.
Little Christy Lynn, when I first met her, was trying to be a state trooper. The academy's down there in Austin, and so they get a lot of trainees.
I heard, so you know, Austin defunded the police and all that, or whatever was going on down there. My granddad told me that they're gonna pull all the Austin police out and deputize them as Texas Rangers and send them back in because the Texas Rangers aren't like through the city or whatever, so they can patrol and do all that stuff still.
Alright.
That's what I heard. I don't know. There's
That's
also
a
a
good idea.
award going in Austin that says we defund the police.
Well, Christy Lynn, when I met her, Godzilla. Can I teach school for 10 seconds, please? It was. What was I going with? You want the funny governor story?
Yes.
I have 2 funny governor stories. I had to meet the governor again. When I was elementary school teacher, and I was a PE teacher, and we took the 4th grade down to the Capitol for a day. And we're eating lunch on the grass under the big, they have huge trees, and they're just eating lunch on the grass there. And Governor Ann Richards comes out. She came out the west side of the Capitol and had 2 troopers with her, and she was coming out to talk to us. The kids look up and see her, and they take off sprinting. And they're screaming, "Miss Bradley, Miss Bradley!" And I'm like, "No!" And I just pick, you see the troopers like doing like this. I was like, "Oh, Governor Richard looked just like the school secretary at Van Alstyne. Same haircut, same glasses, and I got up there. I said, "Miss Governor, I'm so sorry, so sorry. You look just like our school secretary." She laughed about it and talked to the kids. Well, then a few years later, they had state championship day at the Capitol. It was the day before the state track meet, and we had a kid that won the cross country deal that year, and he made the state track meet. So we go down there, and we had an appointment with Governor Perry, and we're waiting outside his office in the Capitol, and the lady comes out and says, okay, James, James Hodges, are you ready? And he goes in, and the lady says, looks at me and Christy, the little cold little pacer, and says, would y'all like to go in? And I'm like, no, we're good. And Christy's like, oh, yes. And so she's going inside, and we sit down, and Rick Perry's talking to James. He looks at little Christy and goes, oh, are you his mother? Well, this is when little Christy was the 30-something-year-old parent of little boys. No, so she was mad. And then he looks at Colt, asks Colt and Pacer their name. They're wearing their Longhorn jerseys, of course. We're in Austin, you have to wear your Longhorn jerseys. And Governor Perry looks at Colt and says, your name's Colt? I said, guess who I had lunch with yesterday? Colt goes, I don't know. He goes, Colt McCoy. He was the quarterback for the Longhorns. And when we left, I didn't say anything about taxes. I didn't mention any policies. I just shook his hand, said, yes, sir, glad to meet you. When we left, I told Colt, hundreds of people he met today, you're the only person he'll remember tomorrow. He forgot Pacer. Yeah, he heard Pacer. I was a couple years after that. Not that long. You were a little older. You were like,
It was the one when we're in the roses.
no, that was another year.
That was another year?
Yeah, that was earlier. Yeah.
I don't remember this though. I don't really remember.
That was pretty cool.
Was that when we walked? No, that was another year.
Yeah, we always went there. That was our vacation every year, was the state track meet. So we went to Austin all the time. All right, so the governor. What's the next one?
Was the line item veto?
This is the most powerful thing the governor of Texas gets to do. Remember when we talked about this with the president? I mentioned this. Well, okay, what's a veto?
You can, so the law or whatever is passed.
Here's this law that comes to the president, and the president can say no and put a veto, and it can get overridden, but that gives the president power to block out that whole law. Can the president pick out bits and pieces of it? No. It's yes or no. The governor has the ability.
Pick up bits and pieces.
You don't know why it's up.
It's an everyday thing now, coach.
Yeah, this is awesome. I love this. This is great.
You're just working on your hand-eye coordination.
I'll time you next
If they ever come to evaluate me and this is going on, let's go try all and everything organized. Well, no kidding.
And you don't wanna, no.
Yeah. So, you got this law. There's this. And the governor can say, you know, I don't like this, I don't like this, I don't like this, and can sign it. Can pick out the parts the governor doesn't like. So basically the governor can rewrite the law. That gives the governor a lot of power. Is this shock Congress when the governor does this? Because they're negotiating back and forth. They both know exactly what's going on, but this is the most powerful thing the Texas governor can do. This gives the governor a lot of...
Does it happen a lot?
Probably not. Well, okay, if it happens, because so far the last few years, it's been a Republican House and Senate and a Republican governor. So, no, it doesn't happen much. If it's ever opposite, which it rarely would be, because if you're going to elect a Republican governor, you're probably going to elect Republican senators and representatives. But if it's ever split or something, yeah, it could happen a lot more.
Is that number 6?
Is that the line item veto?
Yeah.
Do we skip any?
I didn't get
Number 5, we haven't done that one. This is where the governor doesn't have power. Does line item veto make sense? So the governor, when the president's elected, what do they get to pick?
Their vice president
Yes?
and their cabinet.
The cabinet. All the executive offices, all the secretaries of state, secretary of defense, they pick their team. So the president gets to pick a team of people to run all the agencies, the departments. Y'all remember that, right? The governor gets to pick no one. We got the governor, and we have the lieutenant governor. What's the governor kind of like? Kind of like the president. Who's the lieutenant governor kind of like? Vice president. Like the president gets to pick the heads of the agencies and the departments. Gets to pick their team. The governor does not get to pick people. We elect the Texas cabinet. We elect the attorney general. We elect the agriculture commissioner. They're called commissions in Texas. So, the agriculture commissioner, the attorney general, well, that's weird. Ag and ag. One is this, attorney general, one is agriculture commissioner. But all the positions that would be similar to the cabinet, we elect and they run and they answer to us. They don't answer to the governor. Now, the governor could ask them to do things, but they don't have to. Now, it's not like they work against each other, because if you have a Democratic, liberal governor, you're going to pick Democratic, liberal, other things. Or conservative, Republican governor, conservative, Republican, other things. But the governor does not get to pick their own people. So that's where it's different. Everybody cool? Compensation. Citizens, line item. All right, a special session. How long do Texas legislators meet? About 4 months, 120 days, every odd numbered year. So they're meeting right now. This is odd, yeah, it's 21, yeah. They might get called back for a special session, which is an extra 30-day session. To work on something important or to finish the stuff they didn't get done. This summer, there will be at least one special session. And it will be school finance. They never get that done. They have to figure out how much we're going to spend on Texas schools before Texas schools can figure out how much they can spend. And sometimes it's not until August that they figure this out. But school finance, at least one special session this summer. Maybe two. Everybody cool with that? Do they want a special session? What's the reason they don't want it?
They don't want to go back.
Disrupts everything.
Well, okay. It messes your life up. You've got others. This is not your job. You got other stuff to do. What about taxpayers? Do we like special sessions?
No, we got.
What's a per diem? So they do get a little extra. We have to pay. It costs us millions of dollars every special session. You got to pay for the light bill. You got to pay for the per diems. You got to pay for the security. You got to pay for all that kind of stuff. So they don't like special sessions, but there's always one. There's always at least one to do. And you'll hear this summer about school finance and special session, and now you'll know what's going on. Well, it's your taxes, so you will. Thank you very little. You got extra time, don't get me fired.